It's already been several years that I've been wanting to do a Halloween party, but I would like to pay for everything. If I had the money to do the Halloween party once a year, I would pay for it. I would like to put tables in the front, tables in the back, tables inside, and lots of decorating in the hallway, in the patio, and in the back garden. And I would like to put lots of Kodak cameras around the apartment, and lots of candy, and lots of candles around the apartment. The purpose of that is so that I could remember the Halloween party, and so that they can come and celebrate with me. It's because um, when I was growing up, we came from a very different neighborhood than the one that we're in. But because I had lived here when I was like around the age of 11, 12, 13, we moved back in after some time. I think my I think my mom and me had lived with my grandparents, my grandma and grandpa, when they were still alive. And it was it was just me, my mom, my grandma and my grandpa, my uncle and my aunt. My aunt and my uncle, they didn't have any children. My mom had me, but my uncle and my aunt, they didn't have any children or a husband or a wife. Like they haven't been married through church. Neither has my mom. But my mom already had a daughter with my dad, which is me. And so one of my cousins, she was a little bit, well, she is a little bit older than me, and well, she was always a little bit more prettier than me, but I never thought about that because when you're friends or when you're from the family, you don't see it like that, and so you don't compare yourself to other people in the family unless that it's someone else trying to compare you to them. And I know this because I never thought anything like that about my cousin until after the age of 12. And I think it was like, well, it's because my cousin introduced us to some friends from the neighborhood where we come from, but they were a little bit older than us. And well, in my family, it's just me and my mom and my dad. But my dad had another family over here in Alamo. And well, I was living over there in Far the first 10 years of my life. And we had moved over here to Alamo when I was like 11, 12, 13 years old. But we didn't stay for a long time. I was in school here in Alamo Middle School, and I went to school over there in LBJ Middle School. I went to both of them. So, like I said, I was like for at least 15 years in Far or more. But then I had to come back to my family in Alamo. So I ended up here in Alamo again. They moved me over to an apartment building, two different apartment buildings over there in the city of Alamo. And no, I'm sorry, my mistake. To a city over there in the city over there of San Juan. It's because my ex-boyfriend, he went to school there in San Juan, where the school of bears is at there. And I never went to school there in San Juan around that time. But I was from like around the age of 15 to 20 when he was a student there in San Juan. And we met after the age of 15. And I was a student in Alamo, here in the city of Alamo, and in the city of Far. So I went to North Raiders High School in Far, and I went to Memorial Wolverines High School here in Alamo. And so yeah, so when I was growing up, I had only like two cousins that were from my mom and dad's family, but I wouldn't see them every weekend or every month or every year or every summer. I would only see Yesenia, my cousin, almost every month, but not every day though, or every weekend. And well, was my mom and dad didn't live together when I was like 5 years old. My dad moved over to Alamo around that time, and he didn't want us to be with him at his house because he had plans with his wife. And well, when I was like 8 years old, or like 8 or 9 years old, his wife came out pregnant. And I didn't think anything of it until after the age of 12, 13. Like when I was 15 or 16, I started to think something of it. But because I started to realize how important it is to always give the right information. And so I didn't graduate in high school, but as when I was growing up, from like the age of 1 to 10, me and my cousin, we didn't live together, but we lived in the same city. And well, my grandma, well, she was renting a house, and my mom and me would stay with her sometimes. But my grandma had my uncle and my aunt also living with her. And so we would see owls outside oftenly, and we would see bats outside of my grandma's sister's house. And and one of my mom's cousin's son, he had a parrot, but he had lost his mom and his uncle at a very young age. And one of my uncles, he had died also before the age of 10, before I was 10 years old. I went to those three funerals before I was 10 years old. And so me and my mom were there, and I don't know what we were doing, but everybody was afraid because sometimes we would hear footsteps on the porch. We would hear like somebody outside, and there was no one. And sometimes we would hear like the doors from the kitchen moving, or the drawers or the doorknobs moving. And what we would do was that we would put like a big basket of clothes of plastic against the door, and we would put like a table against the door, and we would put some blankets and everything on the floor, and we would sleep on the floor. And when we wouldn't feel comfortable, we would go to the living room, and we would turn off all the lights and cover the windows with the curtains, and we would just sleep in the couches or on the floor. And we always slept very comfortable there in the neighborhood, with the windows open or the windows closed. And so my cousin said, "Let me invite her over. Maybe my parents will let her sleep over, or spend time with me over there at the house." So my cousin invited me over to the house. So I went over to my cousin's house, and we were there. I remember one of the times that we were there, they stole a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2 from her house, and she kept hearing like knocking at the door, but there was no one at the door. And we just started to feel very weird, because we believe in ghosts, and in like haunted houses, and like just apparitions, and like stuff like that, because it has happened to us there at our house and at my grandparents' house too. And so my mom and me, well, we would always be scared to be by ourselves, my mom and me. So my mom would tell me, and she would tell me, "Make sure that you lock the doors and that you don't open the door to anybody. I'm gonna go to sleep over here if you wanna come and sleep with me." And I would tell her, "Yeah, I'll go sleep with you." But because me and my mom were very comfortable, we didn't have any bad thoughts or any bad ideas or anything like that. And my mom, pues, she would tell me, "Go get all the blankets and the pillows so we could sleep here on the floor, and turn off all the lights and lock all the doors, and don't leave the door open. Make sure that everything is locked." I told her, "Okay, I'll make sure that everything is locked." And it's because we were always by ourselves. So at one point, my mom said, "You know what? Let's move out. Let's go back to your grandma's house, because I don't want to be by myself with you here at the house." There was some people trespassing to the property, like older people, like guys that were like 40, 30 years old. And I was barely like a 5, 6, 7 year old. And my mom was barely like 35 or like 30 years old. Well, I don't even know how old my mom was, but I was barely like 5 or 6 years old. And so my mom said, "You know what? Let's move out. Let's go to your grandma's, because I'm starting not to like this house. I'm starting not to like the way things are going." And she said, I don't like that they go into the property without permission. I said, okay, well, let's move out then. So we moved out. And I don't know what we were doing one time, but we were outside of the house of my grandma, and everybody got scared and everybody ran from the back garden that my grandma had, because we heard somebody like whispering in the backyard, but it was the voice of a man that had like an evil voice and an evil way of speaking, and everybody got scared because he sounded like a monster. He sounded evil. So my everybody left, I remember, and everybody went back inside. And I told my mom that I don't like living by myself or anything like that, but that I don't have a way of fixing the problems that I have right now. Usually, we light up candles for Halloween, and we carve pumpkins, or we go trick or treating, or we dress up for Halloween and we take pictures, or we give out candy, or we decorate the patio, the garden, and then we go and buy a costume, and then we go trick or treating, or we give out candies or something. And so yeah, so my cousin hasn't came for Halloween or for Christmas or for Thanksgiving or anything, and I was really hoping that we would spend the holidays with my mom here at the apartment. But I don't think that we're gonna have a good Christmas or a good Halloween or Valentine's Day this year or a good Thanksgiving. I was hoping for something new this year because I always have to be with my mom all the time. So yeah, but you need to be careful because you never know what their intentions are or what they're trying to do to your mom or to your dad or to the family. Like right now, I've been getting up from the bed like lots of times because I feel that someone's in here with me, that someone's trying to follow me, or that someone is following me. I always get a feeling that someone is following me or that someone is watching me. Always. And no one's here. It's just me and my mom. My mom told me make sure that you lock the doors and that you don't leave them open. I'm like, I know. And it's because it's been a long time where I get this feeling, I get a feeling that somebody is there, like watching me, and there's nobody there. And so yeah, so I got up to see if maybe somebody's there. I'm gonna fix this room really good, and I'm gonna hang all my clothes there in the closet. I'm not gonna move out until I fill up the whole top of the closet and all of the hangers all the way from there all the way to the end. I'm gonna go get my hangers at Target or the dollar store. I'm gonna have to buy everything new, and I'm gonna have to throw out the old ones. I have to wash all of those dresses that I have and put costumes up there, PJs, pajamas for Halloween, Valentine's Day, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. And I need to buy socks. I need to buy underwear, bras, and shirts for Halloween, for Christmas, and Valentine's Day, and Thanksgiving. Yeah, I have a long time that I don't spend time with my friends from school, from over there, from far. So I want to make sure if I go back over there that I go back to my friends. Like I gotta wash all of those dresses very good, and I gotta make sure that I put air fresheners in the closets, and that I use this table for reading and writing, and for candles. It's supposed to make the room smell better. Like right now, I'm gonna have to move this over to the side, to that side, and move the bed over to that side because I feel like somebody's watching me and there's nobody there.